Hi guys, hello and welcome back to another video right here on the channel. So this is a new series for 2022 where I'm going to be running down my retro top 10 games of all the machines I have previously done. See the other content below. Okay, so I really hope you enjoy this. Sit back, grab a cuppa and let's go all nostalgic together. So Football Manager, I absolutely love this game. When it came out there was literally nothing like it. Looks very basic today, but it was a case of just pick your team, you start division, I think you just buy players, you'd sell players, and you would just pick your formation, play your game. You'd see some little highlights, match highlights, which were amazing. Again, you know, shows its age now, but back in the day, this was amazing. Wanted Monty Mole. It's probably one of the first platform games I fell in love with. At the time, I was only a kid, a teenager, and we had Arthur Scargill and the Miners strike right here in the United Kingdom. So the game had a little bit of a political twist, maybe for the adults, not so much for the kids, but this is just a cracking little platform game. You played the titular mole, Monty, and you went down to the miners' pits and you had to just collect little items. I never ever done this game, as much as I tried. As much as I loved it, it just wasn't to be, but a classic all the same. Saboteur. Saboteur was really unusual at the time. It was, you know, we take games for granted today, but Saboteur was almost, it wasn't like an open world game, but like you were like this Saboteur, this ninja guy, and you had to infiltrate a bad guy's base and steal, I think it was a disc. You were a little bit of a kind of James Bond stroke ninja, and you had to run along and you had to fight like guards and guard dogs and avoid drops and puzzles and stuff like that. I think you had to get an elevator and reach a helicopter on the roof and fly off. State of the art for the day, and in my opinion it still stands up even today. School Days. This was amazing. This was like, there was nothing like it, and there still hasn't been anything like it of its kind. Maybe the exception of Rockstar's Bully on the 360 and PlayStation 3, I think. You were a schoolboy, I think your name was Eric, and you had to go along and you were just a little tinker. It was just amazing, like from the very start where you could pick all the characters' names, like say for the school bully and like the school SWAT and all that. You could put like all your own mates' names in, and what you do is like you basically walk around and like you'd have to go to like class. And if you didn't go to the class, you get lines. I think you got something like 10,000 lines and like you're expelled, or like that was the end of the game. I think you were trying to get Eric's report card out of the headmaster's safe. I think you'd do it in various different ways. You'd have to kind of collect them, or there'd be like little shields flashing around on the walls, and I think you'd have to kind of use your catapult to sort of hit the teacher's head and it bounce up and like knock the shields. And it was manic. It really was, but it was fantastic at the time. More so when you come home like on a cold winter's night and just put it on, and you know you've been at school all day, but this was like your way of organised or unorganised chaos. It was absolutely fantastic. Way of the Exploding Fist. This was brilliant. Probably in later years you had like International Karate Plus, that kind of rivaled it, but when it first came out it was unbelievable. It was literally a martial arts simulator. You know, you'd start off at like first dan, I think, no, novice, sorry, and you'd have to like win your fight by scoring points in like sort of real martial arts terms, for like a clean hit or a clean kick or something like that, a clean strike, and you basically go up from first dan, second dan, third dan, right up to 10th dan. I think I made it to about 7th dan. What made this really tricky is if you didn't have a joystick, it was like 16 directions. So you'd have 8 directions and you'd be doing like on your keys, and you have to press like, it was crazy. It was played better with a joystick. Trust me, anybody who plays this on an emulator, you'll know exactly what I mean. But phenomenal, and I'll tell you what, it's a little bit slow, but it still stands up even to this day. Absolutely fantastic game from Melbourne House. Chucky Egg. This is like a phenomenal platformer. Again, take no notice of the graphics. Honestly, this plays lovely. Just left, right, up and down. You're running around, you're like a little guy and you're collecting seeds and you're collecting eggs. Up and down ladders, avoiding the little bad guys, stuff like that. Repeat and rinse. They don't make games like this anymore. They really don't, and that's a real pity. Bruce Lee. Fantastic platform game. It was, again, one of them, like Chucky Egg, where you'd be running around up and down ladders, but except this time you'd be like, you could do like 2 attacks, you could punch, or you could do like a flying kick, and it's like a sumo, I think, of like a ninja. I think the sumo was a harder one, the ninja was a quicker one. And you'd be basically running around collecting lanterns, and you go from one side of the screen to the other. So you might sort of start off on the bottom left and like have to make your way up to like the top right, up a ladder or through an entrance or something like that. And you can't be running along and jumping over things like little bombs and all that. It really was good, and it used the Bruce Lee license really, really well. A credit to the immortal Bruce Lee. Manic Miner. I love this game. I have a love-hate relationship with it, and I have done since the day I first played it. Absolutely fantastic. A little bit of controversy possibly, because I have left Jet Set Willy off this list. Surprise, surprise. I think Manic Miner was harder. I think Manic Miner was better. I think it was more, the levels are more puzzly and tricky. Jet Set Willy was more run around, collect things, and it's pretty much room to room. With Manic Miner, the whole sort of room is the screen, so you'd have to beat the screen. So you sort of start off 1 point, have to get to the top point, and along the way you'd be jumping over sort of like poisonous plants and different moving platforms and penguins and all kinds of crazy stuff, to be able to collect everything and then get down, get to the exit, and you go on to the next screen. There really is, you will tear. I've got no hair left, but even when I had hair, I had no hair left. You will tear every ounce, every single grain, every single piece of your hair out playing this game, but you will love it, guaranteed. Jetpack from the amazing Ultimate Play the Game. I got this game and I was addicted to it. It was one of the first games in my life I got addicted to. You are the little jet man in his jetpack, and you're literally sort of flying around the levels, and the idea is you need to be able to collect fuel. You start off first by collecting about 4 or 5 pieces of your rocket, so you collect that, avoid the nasties. You have like a laser rifle, so you sort of like fly around, shoot them, avoid the nasties where you needed to. You pick up a piece of the rocket, you'd fly over the spaceship on the bottom, usually in the middle of the screen. That'd drop down, and you have like an extra piece onto your rocket. So you do this until the rocket was built, and then you'd repeat and rinse with little purple fuel canisters. The rocket would fill up to the very top, indicated by the rocket turning pink all the way up. As soon as that happened, you drop down the screen, usually with about 1 million baddies flying around you. Land at the base of the rocket would take off, it come back down, land, and we start all over again. Simple, but brilliant. And my number one Spectrum game of all time is the seminal Bomb Jack. This come from the arcade, I think, and I remember first seeing it in like, I think, Crash magazine, and I just thought, what is that? All the backdrops were like sort of like Washington and New York and Transylvania and places like that. I think there's about 7 or 8 different places around the world where you've got to go to, and it's basically, it's like it's a platformer. You're the tightlier Bomb Jack, and you are basically jumping around from platforms. Little bombs appear, and they have like a little sort of timer going down, so you're trying to catch it, go and grab the bombs that are sort of burning down faster. You clear all the bombs, and the screen changes onto like the next place in the world. So you might go like, you know, Washington and then to New York or to wherever. Very fast, very arcadey, an absolutely amazing game that still stands up today. Okay guys, so I hope you really enjoyed that little trip down memory lane there. Look out next month for more retro content.